Welcome to StopFake, the place where we set the record straight on fakes about Ukraine. I'm Marko Suprun with another StopFake trip through the Russian alternate reality. This week's disinformation menu brings you the following. Russian media negate the positives of the association agreement between the European Union and Ukraine. Ukraine's currency market will collapse without transfers from Russia. Europe accuses Ukraine of releasing radioactive isotopes into the atmosphere. And German media are against the Eurovision being held in Kyiv. Let's get to the details. The European Commission Directorate General for Trade recently published the results of a report regarding Ukraine-EU cooperation within the Association and Free Trade Agreement. The detailed report shows economic indicators increasing significantly compared with 2015, as well as an increased import-export dynamic between the EU and Ukraine. Manipulating figures from the report, Russian media portrayed the relationship as singularly detrimental to Ukraine. In particular, Russia today went out of its way to portray the Ukraine-EU relationship as beneficial only to the EU, with the headline, "Trade with Ukraine is 10 times more profitable for the EU than for Kyiv." Russia's federal news agency RIA declared, "The EU profits from Ukraine thanks to the free trade agreement," and Aktualne Novosti announced that Ukraine received 10 times less than promised from its trade with the EU. Now, the EU statistics body Eurostat shows that exports have grown both from Ukraine to the EU and from the EU to Ukraine. The EU is a bloc of 28 countries and a much larger market than Ukraine, and comparing the two is futile and statistically nonsensical. The Ukraine-EU Association and Free Trade Agreement went into effect January 1, 2016. Ukraine's GDP for 2016 grew at 1.5%. In 2015, Ukraine's exports to the EU were in the minus, but after the association agreement went into effect, those exports grew by 2%. European Union exports to Ukraine rose to 17% in 2016. Russian media are rife with stories that Russia's State Duma is poised to ban all money transfers to Ukraine. The proposed law affects Ukrainian migrants working in Russia who transfer money to their families in Ukraine. One publication cites an economist who claims that without these transfers, Ukraine's currency market will collapse. According to Alexander Okhrimenko, the economist predicting Ukraine's collapse, last year, Ukrainian migrants transferred $7 billion home and saved the country's currency market. Some $3 billion of those funds came from Russia, he claims. However, according to Ukraine's National Bank in 2016, Ukrainian migrants transferred $2.5 billion home, not the $7 billion that Okhrimenko claims. And according to the International Organization for Migration, remittances make up some 2 to 5% of Ukraine's GDP. Now, while Russia is the most popular destination for Ukrainian economic migrants, neighboring EU countries are increasingly growing more attractive, with 30% of Ukraine's migrants choosing Poland in 2015. Russian media are fond of quoting Alexander Okhrimenko, as he has frequently predicted doomsday scenarios for Ukraine's economy. He predicted the currency black market would bring down Ukraine's economy in 2016 and that the Ukrainian housing market would implode this winter. At the end of February, several Russian publications announced that European countries were accusing Ukraine of releasing a radioactive isotope into the continent's atmosphere. An increase in iodine-131 was first noticed in Norway back in mid-January. Eventually, traces were also picked up in Poland, the Czech Republic, Germany, France, and Spain. The French Nuclear Safety Authority first reported these environmental changes halfway through January. Iodine-131 has a radioactive half-life of 8 days, and in small doses is actually often used in cancer therapies. According to the Independent newspaper, the traces found in Northern Europe could have been inadvertently released by a pharmaceutical company that produces radioactive medicines. Aside from the Russian media, no European publication has suggested the leak originated in Ukraine. RIA Novosti wrote that the leak could have occurred at any of Ukraine's nuclear power plants operating at maximum capacity, but did not provide any evidence to support the claim. RIA cites the Independent and the Barents Observer as its sources and points the finger of blame directly at Ukraine. However, neither publication ever mentioned Ukraine as a possible source of the leak. Ukraine is not even mentioned in their stories. Russia's internet newspaper, Operativnaya Linia, went even further, claiming that nuclear accidents had occurred at Ukraine's southern nuclear power plant in April, May, June, and November of 2016. Now, Russian media routinely publish stories about what it calls extremely dangerous Ukrainian nuclear power plants, predicting that Ukraine's atomic sector is on the point of collapse. Here at StopFake, we debunk these fake claims as regularly as Russian media promotes them. Ukraine's nuclear regulatory agency assured StopFake that there were no nuclear mishaps in Ukraine that could have resulted in an iodine-131 leak. German media are against holding the 2017 Eurovision Song Contest in Kyiv. That was declared by the Russian news site Politexpert at the end of February. Written by Artem Kolchin, the story does not cite an actual German publication, does not link to any article, and offers no direct or indirect quotes to support the author's claim. Kolchin also sweepingly asserts that Europe doesn't want the contest to be held in Ukraine, but again, does not name any specific country or organization. Eurovision is a popular topic in German language media. The majority of articles focus on competition participants, ticket sales, and the organizational challenges Kyiv faces in hosting the 2017 contest. None of the articles have advocated that Ukraine should not host the contest. StopFake's German language team managed to dig up only one article claiming that it would be better for Ukraine not to host the competition. That was a commentary by Deutsche Welle Russian service editor Andreas Brenner, who proposes that Ukraine give up the competition. Held since 1956, Eurovision is the longest-running annual international TV song contest. According to contest rules, the winning country hosts the following year's contest. Ukrainian singer Jamala won last year with her song 1944. That's it for this week. You can get more information about these stories and more on the StopFake website. Give us a click. When it comes to consuming fake news, remember, you have a choice. You can use the blue pen and believe whatever you want to believe. Or you can use the red pen and start seeing things the way they are. It'll keep your brain healthy and free and improve the psychological climate of society. Be vigilant and beware of fakes. If you spot any disinformation about Ukraine, send it to us for a truth autopsy. I'm Marko Suprun, and this is StopFake. Thanks for watching.